So, all the officers in the Breonna Taylor case were just found not guilty of any homicide charges, as they should be. And I want to explain why they should be. And this is coming from somebody who does not believe in no-knock warrants. No-knock warrants are bullshit, and I do not believe that plainclothes police officers should have the right to show up at your house at any hour of the morning, kick your door in, and expect you not to fire back, especially in a case where they do not announce themselves. Now, they were not found guilty. And that's good. The system needs fixed. A lot of things are wrong with this system. No-knock warrants, as I said, are completely unjustifiable. But when you have somebody working for you and you tell them to go do something and they go do it and somebody gets hurt, it's not that person's fault that you told to go do that. You gave them the order. So in this case that I'm talking about, these officers were just given an order. That's it. And they followed the order that they were given. They did what they were told to do. And sadly, people died because of it. Now, I'm not a professional on this case, especially this case in particular. I do not know the ins and outs of the case, okay? But everything that I've read points to the verdict that was reached today is a just one. Now, I know that it's not going to make a lot of people happy. Somewhere along the line, we forgot that as people, we strive to be better with every decision that we make. We might fuck up once in a while. We might, we might make a bad choice here and there. But where we should all come together and rejoice is that we won't let this happen again. We won't do the same thing. We won't keep repeating bad mistakes and bad choices, expecting different results. And we forgot that, man. This is gonna cause more riots. It's gonna cause more death. It's gonna cause more destruction, and that's not right either. One death does not justify another, and we should just be able to get a hold on ourselves. We should just be able to get a grip, man. We don't need to go out and hurt others because we've been hurt. That's just it's just not right. And I started seeing a counselor for a few reasons, and it's actually a counselor that specializes in anger management and what leads you to make bad decisions in passionate and heated moments. And that's actually a very common thing that happens when people are hurt, is they go out to hurt another person, because anything along the lines of a traumatic event, your brain tries to push out and you immediately turn it to anger if you don't hold it a certain way, if you don't respond to that trauma in a certain way. And that's what we're seeing, is a very common psychological event that happens with people. Now, that doesn't justify going out and burning shit down. And you know, I want to also say that I think a lot of the trauma that people are experiencing over these riots and over everything is from the media. When I was getting information for this case, which I do have a little bit still to go over, I watched an ABC video, and the way that this reporter lobbed these questions at this activist in Louisville, Sadiqa Reynolds is their name. Um, the way she gave these questions, the way she framed these questions for this lady, the one in particular that sticks out to me was, what do you feel the message was that you received today with this verdict? And the woman immediately goes off and says, well, the verdict that we've, with the verdict that we've got, the message is clear that black lives still do not matter. Really? Is that the message that you received? Is that the message that you received, really? No, that's not the message that you received. The message that you received is that while you may be able to indict one officer on grand jury charges, these guys got off because they should have gotten off of these charges. They weren't strong enough to hold, and that's what the justice system does. When there's not enough evidence to prosecute somebody for something, we refuse to prosecute them. That's the justice system. You have to prove somebody is guilty or they are innocent. Period. If you can't prove it, then it doesn't happen. That's the way that it needs to be. Because if it's not guilty until proven, or if it's not innocent until proven guilty, it's guilty until proven innocent. And it can't be that way. It's harder to prove, you know, to prove innocence than it is guilt. And a lot of, especially with how heated the political sphere is right now, you know. One of my videos in the past few days was on the man who killed himself, Jacob Gardner, who killed himself in Omaha because of an indictment from the grand jury, because these charges of self-defense were brought or were dropped. You know, it was self-defense, ruled as self-defense, that he protected himself, as it should have been. These charges should have never been brought against him, but they were, and he feared for his life. As I understand, I would have too. But he decided to take his life. Rather than face it, rather than stand up to the system, he decided to take his life. And that was an instance in where he was guilty before he was ever innocent. We can't have it that way. That's not a free country. And in this country, we are a free group of people. We do not fall under a communist regime's unfair rules and unjust rules. There are checks and balances put into place to avoid and to keep people who hold positions of power from abusing that power and overusing that power. That's not what they learned from this, is that the message is clear, black lives don't matter. Black lives matter to the majority of the country. Do you know who black lives don't matter to? The fucking rioters. The rioters that go into these cities and burn down black businesses. The rioters in these cities that run around toting illegal weapons and shoot people that are legally carrying weapons. You know where black lives don't matter? In the ghettos from New York to LA, where people sadly lose their lives every day and they don't get a fucking news story that covers it. Children, black children that lose their lives every day, whether it be in abortion clinics or in the streets, they don't get news stories, and when they do, they're not highly publicized like this one is. You know why? Because these stories of these black children dying in the streets every day, these stories are the ones who prove that the numbers don't lie. These are the ones that prove that statistics are real. They can't have you think that way. They can't have you think that way. They have to make you think that these numbers are false and that these numbers are put forth by some shadow government body that doesn't care about black lives. It's a load of bullshit. It's a load of bullshit. And if Black Lives Matter really just stood for Black Lives Mattering, I would be on board. But it doesn't. And that's why you see things happening now where Black Lives Matter is pulling their About Us section off of their webpage, where they blatantly list their Marxist ideals, where they blatantly say that we're trying to force LGBTQ rights or normalcy into day-to-day lives. And you know, I don't have any issue with you. Any choice that you make, as long as that choice does not affect me. Regarding your sexuality, regarding your religious beliefs, regarding anything, I don't care if you leave me the fuck out of it. But going into these cities, in the states that I live or don't live, in the country that I live in, and burning down these cities, you just brought me into the mix. You just affected me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys. This is what needed to happen, though. Hopefully we can fix it. But I guess we'll see. I want to wish everybody out there a great day, and thank you so much for watching.